Better Together podcast.
Welcome to the Better Together podcast from the Fuquay-Varina Chamber of Commerce. We're recording today from the Dashmore Conference Room and Studio, sponsored by Rescued Wood Rehab. The Better Together podcast highlights local businesses each week as the Fuquay-Varina Chamber of Commerce continues to promote an amazing business community. I'm Marty Woodward from the Rescue Wood Rehab, and I'm joined by my co-host, Brad Marshall, from the Greater Culture CrossFit here in Fuquay-Varina. Brad, how the heck are you?
Doing great, Marty. Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm good. The guests just keep getting better and better.
I know.
Right?
We're adding microphones.
We got microphones. Yeah, we're multiplying. Pretty soon we're going to have a full room of people.
Yeah, and I'm excited because today we're joined by Lynanne, one of the founding members of the Downtown Rotary Club, and Carrie, the current president of the Downtown Rotary Club. So excited to have you both on here to tell us a little bit more about what you all get a chance to do. So thanks for being guests on the podcast today.
Glad to be here.
So I think it would be helpful to give us a little insight into what is the Downtown Rotary Club, and maybe give us a little understanding of how it was founded and what are some of the initiatives and things you do.
Okay, so we founded this in 2010. It's actually there's always been a Rotary Club in Fuquay. It met at lunchtime. It's been around for about 45 or 50 years. But during the recession in 2008, 2009, there were a lot of folks that had to go to Raleigh for work. They couldn't work here in Fuquay anymore, so it made it very difficult for members to make that lunch meeting. So we spun off a morning club, and we've been a morning club since 2010. And it's great for professionals that either have to go somewhere else to work, so they start their day with us and then they move on, or we even have a virtual component now, so our members can Zoom in from their workplace if they get there early. So it provides some flexibility. So now we have two clubs in Fuquay at different times to meet different needs. So that's how it got started. You have to have 20 members to start a club. So we started with 20, and we've hovered right around there ever since. But we're very passionate, very service-minded, and have worked very hard for almost 12 years to do good in the community.
Yeah, it's fantastic, the longevity of the club, and to hear how you've adapted, especially as times have changed and the way that people interact with work. Yeah. And so what got you excited or inspired to start and then join and be part of the Downtown Rotary Club?
Well, I'll start, but Carrie has a different story. We all have different stories. So I actually joined the brand new Holly Springs Rotary Club in 2004 when it was first getting off the ground. I was the second female member. So I don't know how much you know about Rotary, but it wasn't until the 80s. Rotary was founded in 1901 or 2, but it wasn't until the 1980s that they allowed women in, thanks to a court case. But there were two of us. When I left my job in Holly Springs and moved to a job in Fuquay, I just switched clubs. It was easier. But I have been involved for 22, 23 years. In various towns and different clubs. I am passionate about service. The thing I love about Rotary is that I can do it under one roof. I can be involved in lots of different things. We have our fingers in a lot of different pies in terms of community assistance and improving the community. And so I don't have to go and volunteer in 3 or 4 different organizations. You know, we find a need and we try to help fix it, and we don't have to go looking for a solution somewhere else. I often think of Rotarians as resource brokers. You know, they find ways to connect people and resources to each other in times of need. So it's just nice to have it all in one unit.
Yeah.
Carrie's, what's your story?
And I joined the Downtown Fuquay-Varina Rotary Club 3 years ago because I wanted to be connected to the community. And after attending a few meetings, I realized that it was more than just meeting, every other week, that it's something that, our motto is service above self. So getting involved in the community and meeting people in the community is something that I valued. So I've really enjoyed my short time with the Rotary Club, and our club is continuing to grow. So that's so exciting.
Yeah, I love to hear the service-oriented and service-minded nature of the club. I imagine, as you said, facing the COVID years and the challenges of people moving back to the office in Raleigh and whatnot, probably some other challenges you faced with the Rotary Club. So talk to us about some of the challenges that you continue to face and overcome as Rotary Club to support and have some of that service-minded orientation in the community here.
And that it's not just about meeting. That's what initially, I think people think that it's just getting together and meeting, but that we are very hands-on and do a lot in the community. So I think one of the biggest challenges is the educational piece and, letting people know what Rotary is all about.
I would agree. So awareness and education mostly. People volunteer for many different reasons, and everybody has sort of a shelf life when it comes to volunteering. So they'll volunteer with something for, they used to say 5 years was sort of the range, and then they'll move on to something else. So we have folks that come and get very involved with us and then move on to something else. So there's always sort of that in and out cyclical membership feel to Rotary, but we've had a lot of interest in the last year or so where we've expanded by 4 or 5 members just this year. And what they want to do is get out and work in the community. So a Rotary clubs all have different flavors. It depends on who their president is. It depends on who started them. Some Rotary clubs have a lot of money. We tend to be more on the service, hands-on side. We can find the funds, but we want to be actually doing it. But the challenge is finding the folks that fit into that niche, right? So they'll come and go, but we've had the same probably 10 to 14 members for, I'd say 4 or 5, since before COVID. And they're all very involved and very, very interactive.
Yeah, well, fantastic being on the podcast today and being part of the chamber to continue to bring some of that awareness, get people to know and understand what it is you all do. And one of the things we always love to hear from business owners are what are some of the unique aspects, or what can people maybe expect if they get involved or come to sit down at some of these breakfasts or want to support. So what are some of the unique aspects around the Downtown Fuquay-Varina Rotary?
Some of the things that we do have coming up in April, on April 24th, is the Bowling for the Quay, and that's held right here in Fuquay at South Hills Bowling Alley. And so we have that coming up, and we also have Flags for Heroes that is coming up on Memorial Day, and that's another one that's not just a fundraiser, but we also consider that as one of our projects as well, because we're highlighting, heroes in the community. So in addition to the fundraisers, we're also doing service projects. There's little libraries and little pantries around town that we help maintain and keep foot-filled. We do Meals on Wheels, read a book, get a book. So there's just so many different projects and fundraisers that we have our hands in.
Yeah, and I think on top of that, there's the fellowship aspect. So any kind of a social or civic club is going to have a fellowship side to it, and Rotary is very protective of that. So we do a lot of get-togethers and social things. We have a silent reading club once a month at Lucci Blues Cafe. It's a wonderful spot for reading and relaxing. But we've also done things like Cervasi After Hours, or Cervasi Above Self, I think is what we called it, where we meet on Fridays and get a beer together. The fellowship deepens the relationships between the members, and we work better when we want to be with the people that we're working with. So fellowship is very important. We try not to spend a lot of time on meetings, but the meetings are important because it gets us all in the same room. We get to hear about topics. We just had a meeting yesterday with a woman from Haiti who's doing an optometry clinic. And yes, they do ask for funding. That's part of Rotary. We fund projects. But these people who have taken their whole lives, gone to another country, and they're working on a huge project like that. So a lot of those meetings are awarenesses of things that are going on in the community and things that, ways that we can help a problem or an issue. So there's that side of it too, not just the projects and the fundraisers, but that they're all wrapped up together in a nice, neat bow.
And one of the projects you mentioning that is the clean water system in Uganda that I know that you've been working on with Alex.
Yes, so 3 years ago, we had a speaker who came from Uganda virtually. We had a virtual meeting, and he was talking about that he runs a school in Kisoro, Uganda, and one of their students was getting ready to go to college but didn't have any funds. So they were looking for tuition money. And it turns out it's only $300 a semester to go to college in Uganda. So we have been sponsoring him. He graduates in October, but we've established a relationship with the director of the school. And we had another meeting, about 6 months ago? And they explained that in building their new school building, they needed about $4,800 for a water containment system. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Uganda, but people have to walk miles to get their drinking water. And they're going to have a school with 100 children in it. So the amount of time that it would take them to go and walk for water every day was going to be detrimental to their program. So we were able to fundraise the money and send it over to them, and it's been installed. We've gotten the pictures. So a bunch of us are going to go to Uganda in October for Alex's graduation and to dedicate the water containment system. So it's very exciting.
That's fantastic. You know, Brad and I are usually talking to businesses, right? And not always, but a lot of times we're talking about what products and services, and you just went down a whole list of things, of all kinds of different services. Mm-hmm. If there's one or two here local in the community, things coming up that you would say, you know what, we really want people to get involved with, could you share maybe one or two of those that are coming up here in the next, late spring into the early summer this year?
Yeah, you want me to take that? So we already talked about the bowling tournament. We are looking for teams to play in that. So there's information on both our social media and our website about that. Flags for Heroes is a community event. This will be our 5th year. And we're looking for sponsors right now, but we're also looking for people who want to recognize the heroes in their lives. And more information will be coming out on that in March. But also, just at the very beginning stages, food insecurity is one of our major concerns. So we help support the growers market, provide money for seniors to be able to access fresh food. And we're going to be building raised garden beds for seniors so that they can have them near their homes and be able to plant some things, tomatoes, cucumbers, whatever. So we're in the process right now. I just downloaded the plans for the beds, and we're pricing everything out, but we're looking for businesses to sponsor those. So we'll do all the work. But if people, it's going to be about between $200 and $225. So that'll all be coming out in March as well. We're hoping to have them in place by the end of April, beginning of May.
That's tremendous. You don't really in it being a charitable organization, you don't really have competitors, because if somebody wants to get involved with a charity, you're like, hey, yes, absolutely, help everybody, and certainly Rotary does that. But what makes kind of Rotary different than maybe, hey, I want to go get involved with a community, go get involved with a charity organization? What makes Rotary different? Now, you've touched on that a little bit, but can you kind of share what it means to you to be part of Rotary versus maybe, hey, going to work for another charity or volunteering your time with another charity?
Yeah, so I can jump right on that one. We do have civic groups in the area, and so when people, we have this influx of folks that are moving here from out of state, out of town, and they're looking for ways to get involved. But there's the Kiwanis Club, there's the Lions Club, there's the Legion, everyone in the Women's Club, they're all doing amazing things. So yes, they have a lot of options. But Rotary has always had a business component. Business ethics has always been one of the main themes of Rotary from the very beginning. Rotary was started by 4 businessmen in Chicago who were very passionate about business ethics and making ethical decisions. So they created this organization, and they rotated from one business office to another. That's how the name Rotary was created. And that has been a very important piece of the Rotary puzzle forever. It's not quite as communicated anymore because there's so many different business industry labels now. There's so many different ways people are in business. But we still very strongly believe in business ethics, and we really love to entice business owners who want to have a way to be impactful in the community. So we do have some retired folks, and we do have a couple of moms, But for the most part, most of our members are business leaders, business folks that are looking for a nice way to give back to the community without, like I said before, of having to go to, various different organizations to do that. So I would say that's what makes us competitive. That's what makes us a little different. So I think that would be the strongest point.
And also to touch on that as well, being in the community, one thing that drew me to our club is not only are we working on projects outside of Fuquay-Varina, working on things in Uganda, but I love the aspect of working here in Fuquay-Varina, working on projects, whether it's the little library or the little pantry, or when we're doing Meals on Wheels. We've had the same route for
10 years.
Yeah, for 10 years. So we're still seeing those same individual people. So it's that community connection.
So as you're looking for, new members to be a part of the Downtown Rotary, what can somebody expect when they, like, hey, I think I want to get involved with the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Rotary. What can I expect? Like, I want to help. What's my time commitment? What's that look like on a typical week or month, if you will?
It's going to vary from person to person, honestly. There are people like me who have no life outside of volunteering. I do have a job. I have to kind of remind myself sometimes that I work for a living as well. But it just depends on what your life will allow you to do.
Mm-hmm.
We have some people who just come to meetings. We have some people who, like me, or have my hands in every single project some way or another. It just depends on your personal choice. So the recommendation is to come to some meetings, get to know the members. If there's a project that you're interested in, just get involved with it in some way. Leadership positions, Rotary, any civic club is a great way to get leadership experience, taking on an officer position or things like that. Carrie has been president of our club for 2 years. It's worked out really well, but that's often because of the size of our club that we don't have a lot of people that want to step into that role. But they can literally do whatever their schedule allows, from just coming to meetings to leading a project. So.
And we meet twice a month, so we meet on the first and third Wednesdays of every month, and then on that other Wednesday, the board is meeting, and then on the second Wednesday of the month, we're meeting for coffee and fellowship. It varies from week to week, so it's not always the same every week. And we've had people come their first visit with us, and we put them to work. We signed Christmas cards for the nursing homes in the areas, or we had people help us wrap the books for a blind date with a book for our book club. So we encourage people to come check us out, and whether that's sitting in on a meeting or coming and working on a project hands-on, but just to kind of get a feel for our club. And I feel like we're just a small, tight-knit family.
Yeah, I love to hear the service projects, the way you're getting involved in having been a part of this club for a couple of years or a number of years. Can you speak to some of the personal lessons, experiences, insights that maybe you've had being a part of this club for the last number of years? How it's maybe impacted you?
Yeah.
Well, for me, just getting involved in Rotary, and truthfully, when I first joined, I really didn't know. So one of the biggest things I've learned is how many moving pieces there are behind the scenes. We don't just get together and have meetings. There are different committees, committee chairs, people working on various fundraiser projects. We're collaborating with other Rotary clubs in addition to that. So there's just so much behind the scenes.
The club is just the tip of the iceberg, really. That's the local connection. But then we're in a district, and then, of course, it's worldwide. So we have 1.2 million Rotarians in about 2,000 clubs worldwide. Almost every country has a Rotary club in some form or another. There's also e-Rotary clubs for those people who can't make meetings on a regular basis or who travel a lot. But that's the other piece of Rotary that's kind of exciting, and I haven't taken enough advantage of it, is the international aspect. But as a Rotarian, you are welcome in any club in any part of the world that you're traveling, and you can even arrange to stay with other Rotarians. So if you want to backpack across Europe, that's very easily done. So I love all of the pieces. Like you said, there's so many moving parts. We all talk about a Rotary aha moment when we go to a convention or a conference or a district training and we see what's going on that's so much bigger than we are. And I'm really glad that there are people out there that want to do that. I don't want to go outside of Fuquay. I'm very happy to work right here and solve problems locally, but it's amazing what's being done across the country and around the world by people who have, the means to do those things. So, yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, I'm grateful to be educated on the amount of Rotarians out there, how vast it is, the work that you all do. So I imagine there's probably some others out there who maybe this is the first time they're hearing about it, interacting with it. Maybe they aspire to get involved in their community or find ways to put themselves out and volunteer. What are some words that you might share with somebody who's looking for a way to get involved, a way to give back, a way to be more service-minded, and maybe the Downtown Rotary Club could be for them?
Well, I'll start because I have a great answer already. My husband's a Mason. And, we all know between the Da Vinci Code and some other things, that they think, a lot of people think that's a secret society. But one of their favorite lines is, if you think we're a secret society, you should check out Rotary. So I think that if I was going to say one thing, it would be come check us out, because there's nothing secret about us. We are literally just here trying to do good things in the community, and there's nothing scary about coming and seeing how you can get involved. We're very happy to receive new people and new ideas, and we never know what people are passionate about until they come in and say, let's do a little free pantry and fill it with food. That's how projects get born. And so, yeah, come check us out. Don't be afraid. We don't bite.
And you don't have to commit to anything right away. Like Lynanne said, just come check us out. And Rotary's a great place to start if you're looking to get involved in the community.
Yeah. So it might be a great opportunity for somebody to come check it out. You mentioned it's a breakfast club, first and third Wednesday. Okay, because I was curious, like, what are the timings for meetings if somebody's? It started off that way.
So back before the pandemic, Rotary clubs usually had a meal. So you broke bread together and then you had a meeting. Since COVID, things are all over the place. Rotary clubs reflect the people that are in them. When we first started, we offered a breakfast every time, and we would all take turns bringing in something. It's more continental breakfast. Some Rotary clubs will have a full plated lunch, but that's reflected in your dues, and we wanted to make our dues reasonable, so we decided not to wrap the cost of a breakfast into that. So we've been able to keep our dues relatively low, and we decided that everybody's doing protein shakes in the morning, so we would bring breakfast and nobody would eat it. So everybody's kind of on their own now, and it works fine. So the breakfast club is sort of a blast from the past. We call ourselves the morning club now.
The morning club. So what time does it typically get together, just for somebody who wanted to plan for that?
We meet at 7:30 a.m. at the Fuquay Co-working on Main Street. It's 1000 North Main Street. So the first and third Wednesday of the month. And like Lynanne said earlier, we are virtual as well. So we do have our Zoom meeting information online too.
Yeah, that's a fantastic place, the co-working space over there.
It is. I love it.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
So the two of you are out and about in Fuquay-Varina all the time. So you must have like a favorite spot or two that you like to go. Can you share with us your favorite spot or spots?
Well, I am partial to Lucci Blues for the Silent Reading Club. We have been at Cellar 55, and they've been wonderful as well. And we've done it at TCB, the Corner Beer Garden as well. But Lucci Blues just has that vibe where it's lends itself to conversation and comfort. So we're doing that for the spring. We'll see how it goes, but that's one of my favorites. We've also had a wonderful relationship with several downtown businesses because we were the Downtown Rotary Club. And our goal was to stay in downtown. It's really hard to find a place to meet for 30 people, though. So that's why we're at co-working, because one of our members owns the co-working, and it's a great place for us for the moment. But back when the Meeting Corner and Edna's Cafe were around, we met there. We have met at Stevens Hardware after it closed. We had a whole room to ourselves downstairs that we could serve coffee, and so we've been in a number of places, but I would say right now Lucci Blues is probably my favorite as far as the book club is concerned, and then we meet at Bolt on a regular basis. So we do try to get around. So we've been to we've had breakfast a couple of times at what's the Toastery?
Famous Toastery, and then Bolt Coffee, where Stuffed Donuts is now.
We went to the Morning Hangar when it was open.
Yeah.
That was nice. So
Yeah, I love the downtown, just walking around downtown Fuquay-Varina and like how charming it is. And then like one of my other personal favorite stores in Fuquay is the Guardian Angel. And most of everything I have in my home, my clothes, all come from the Guardian Angel, and they do a lot of great things in the community as well.
Yeah, they're my neighbors, and they're great folks. They really are really
Carrie
great
and I are
folks.
both on their board.
Yes.
So
Okay.
Some of our leadership activity at Rotary has resulted in invitations to serve in other areas. So we're both very happily serving on that board as well.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So, can you share any advice for someone who, hey, I want to get involved in a charitable organization or do good back in my community? What would be your advice for someone who, I don't want to make that leap, but I'm ready, but I don't know? What would be, where do I turn? What would be your piece of advice for that?
I would just say try each of them out. Every club, every type of club is going to have a different flavor, and it's more about how you blend in with the folks that are in that club or that organization than it is what the organization is doing. There are some organizations that are very specific, like Sleep in Heavenly Peace. They build beds. That's what they do. But all of the other sort of more general civic organizations, they're a great way to meet people. For all the people that are moving into Fuquay, we have a town commissioner in our club. We have a wannabe town commissioner in our club. It's a great place to meet the people that are shaping the Fuquay community. So, but definitely check out the different clubs. We always recommend that people go to both Rotary clubs to make sure that the personality fit is right. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I agree with like when Lynanne said, just come and visit, check us out, and anytime anyone has any questions, and reach out to one of us, and we'd be happy to answer.
Well, I think the big thing is finding out where you are and how do we get in touch with you. And
So for folks who are interested to find out about all those fantastic upcoming events that you highlighted, or to get some more information about a meeting, what are the best places for people to learn more?
Our website is up to date. Not all organizations can attest to that. I'm the public information chair, so that I take that very seriously. But our website is downtownfuquay-varina.org with no hyphens or spaces or anything. But we are very active on social media. So the Downtown Fuquay-Varina Rotary Facebook page is where I would send people to go for up-to-date meeting information and things like that.
Yeah, so fantastic opportunities to get out, serve, give back to the community, have some fun along the way, like you highlighted. Being part of the chamber certainly is a great way to continue to build relationships. So as members of the Fuquay-Varina Chamber of Commerce, what's been some of your favorite aspects to being part of this organization?
I think it's the contacts, honestly. So I was the membership director here for 7 years. So after I left, I still have all those contacts. It's great when you see a need in the community and you're like, oh, I remember so-and-so could help me with that. There was a board member here many years ago who ran a program called Your Relationships Should Be Deep and Wide. And it's not just passing business cards back and forth, but it's developing relationships with the people that you could then refer. And that's the way we operate as a club, is knowing where to reach out to the people that can help with something. And I just feel that connection with the chamber just facilitates those relationships and introduces us to new people, things like that.
Yeah, definitely the chamber's been a very good resource for that.
As a matter of fact, we're hosting the March Business After Hours.
Fantastic.
So people will get to know more about the club and get to meet us in person.
Oh, we got that coming up in a couple of weeks then.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Those are some of my favorite times to get together with everybody, share, get to know each other with. So those are always fantastic opportunities. And so, Lynanne, Carrie, thank you both so much for being guests on the podcast today, sharing a little bit more about the Rotary. And we appreciate you giving us all a little bit of an understanding of what Rotarians are and how you're making a huge difference, not only in the community here, but even worldwide.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you both, and thank you to our listeners. Join us each week for the Better Together podcast as the Fuquay-Varina Chamber of Commerce continues to highlight great local businesses and organizations. From the Dashmore Conference Room and studio, sponsored by Rescued Wood Rehab, I am Marty.
And I'm Brad.
And we are Better Together.
We're better together. It's a weekly podcast. We're better together. You should know that there's more in the dash. We're better together. Fuquay-Varina Chamber of Commerce. We're better together podcast.